Hello, my name is Jimbo Ivey, and on behalf of the City of Corvallis Parks and Recreation Department, I'd like to welcome you to our show. Tonight's show represents the enormous effort of our amazing staff and volunteers in creating art under the pressures and precautions of COVID-19. I would like to take a moment to recognize this team of superstars for making sacrifices, enduring constantly changing rules and precautions, and having the spirit and heart to make this show in the face of a pandemic, a racial justice revolution, deadly fires, a critical election, and all of the other challenges we have faced during this past year. Together, they have overcome all of those things to bring us this delightful show because, as we say, the show must go on. But we need your help to do it. In order for the Majestic to keep arts and culture alive in our community, we need you. We need you to buy tickets to our shows, which you have already done, or else you wouldn't be with us today. We need you to keep buying them. We have a variety of shows planned for each month, but without your support, we won't be able to make them. We need you to share with your friends and family how much you enjoy these shows and encourage them to catch the next weekend's performance and the one after that. And for those of you who are able, please consider donating to the Majestic. We have struggled before at the Majestic, as all arts venues do, but now is the time, my friends. Now is when we need you the most. And we'll make it. Why? Because we, all of us together, are Majestic. Thank you for your support of the Majestic Theater, and we hope you enjoy the show.
I had seen little of Sherlock Holmes lately, my dear and utterly aloof friend. My marriage had drifted us away from each other, and Holmes, who loathed every form of society with her whole bohemian soul, remained in our lodgings in Baker Street, buried among her old books. She was still, as ever, deeply attracted by the study of crime, and occupied her immense faculties and extraordinary powers of observation in clearing up those mysteries which had been abandoned as hopeless by the official police. She could not share in the triumphs of my domestic bliss, for she never spoke of the softer passions save with a jibe and a sneer. Yet her latest case, centered as it was upon the most perfect specimen of innocence and charm, was to test her resolved scorn towards the gentle force of love. The scene of the first of the many crimes that comprise our tale is a slightly shabby house in a part of London that had once been modestly fashionable, but no longer held such distinction. The furniture of the drawing room is old and decayed, with the exception of the piano, a beautiful and exquisitely maintained baby grand. A desk of great solidity dominates the center of the room. A strikingly handsome woman with a somewhat hard face enters the room, a singularly anxious air about her.
Ma'am, the evening paper has arrived.
Judson, how did you happen to imagine that I would be interested in this marriage announcement?
I could hardly help it, ma'am.
I suppose you have overheard certain references to the matter between myself and my brother.
I thought it might be of some importance to you, ma'am, to know it.
Oh, no, of no special importance. We know the parties concerned and are naturally interested in the event. Of course, you do not imagine that there is anything more.
Certainly not, ma'am.
Very well. Now, as to the maid, Therese, do you think of anything which might explain her assertion this afternoon that she will not be here tomorrow?
It has occurred to me that she may have taken exceptions to some occurrences which she thinks she has seen going on in this house.
I'll raise her wages if I find it necessary. Tell her so. If it isn't money that she wants, I will see her myself.
Very well, ma'am.
We'll have to get a locksmith in.
No, we can't do that. It isn't safe.
Aye, well, we've got to do something, haven't we? Oh, blasted safe. I wish to God I knew a bit about these bloody things. There's no time to waste either. They've put Holmes on the case. I heard it down at Larry's. They keep track of her down there. Oh, it's damnable. After holding on for 2 good years just for this, and now the time has come and our blasted girl has blocked us. Look here, I'll just get at her for a minute. I have an idea I can change her mind.
Remember, nothing that'll show. No marks. We might get into trouble.
Oh, look out for that.
Madame?
Therese, you startled me. What is it?
Mistress Johnson said I was to come to tell you it is that I wish to go.
You've been here months and have made no complaint. What is it you do not like?
I do not like it, madame. What you do, the young lady, you have observed? It is not well.
You know nothing about it. The young lady is ill. She is not right here. She is a great trouble to us, but we take every care of her and treat her with the utmost kindness and... Well, I'd best go up and check on the poor dear.
Do you hear, young lady? What is it they make to her?
It may be she is ill.
Indeed, I think it is so that they make her ill. I will not remain to see. I can find another place. It is not so difficult.
Not so difficult if you know where to go. I have one address.
Serial? What you call reliable?
Here, on this card, go to that address. Don't let anyone see it.
Sure.
Shh! Someone might hear you. Go to that address in the morning.
Tell him I'm here, can't ya?
Did you wish to see Mr. Chetwood, sir? Or was it Miss Chetwood?
Well, I'll be blowed. You actually have never been here before. Go on and tell him it's Mr. Sidney Prince, Esquire.
Oh, yes, sir. I beg your pardon. I'll announce you immediate, sir.
Well, here's the safe then. What a beaut.
Ah, hello, Sid. Did you get my note?
Well, I'm here, ain't I?
We're awfully glad you turned up, Sid. We might have had to go get some stranger to do it.
I say, Larrabee.
Shut up, lad. For heaven's sake, Sid. Remember, my name is Chetwood. Here.
Beg your pardon, my mistake. Old times when we was learning to trade together, eh?
Yes.
No need to get huffy about it.
Can you open that box for us now? We've no time to lose.
Open it? Or I should say I could. It's the kind of thing that'll just fall open on its own if you leave it alone long enough. I'd like to really know is where you come up with this old relic. All clear now, right? No danger lurking?
Not in the least.
I knew you was on some rum lay. Squatting down here in this place for over a year. I never could quite seem to get a line on you. What do we got here?
Only a bundle of papers, Sid.
And I'm in, right?
Why, of course, Sid. Whatever you think is due for opening the box.
I want to know what I'm in.
Why don't you tell him, Jimmy?
Well, I'm willing to give him an idea of what it is, but I didn't want to give the names.
That's all I want. No, what is? I don't need no names.
So, you know how we've been working the continent, pleasure places and all that?
So I've heard.
Well, it was over there. Homburg. Yes, Homburg was the place it was. We ran across a young girl who'd been having a wee bit of trouble. Her sister had just died, and so Madge took hold and found that this sister of hers had been having some kind of love affair with, well, a foreign gentleman of exceedingly high rank. Or at least the lad had expectations that way.
How much was there to it?
A promise of marriage.
Broke it, of course.
Aye, that he did, and her heart with it. I didn't know what more she expected, but she and her child died together, the poor dears.
Oh, dead.
Aye, but the case isn't. There are evidences, letters, photographs, jewelry with inscriptions that he gave her. The sister's been keeping them, and we've been keeping the sister, you see.
Oh, it's the sister he got here. What's her little game?
To get even.
Oh, to get back at the way he treated her sister. Oh, she don't want money.
No.
Well, these papers and things ought to be worth a little something.
I tell you, it would not be safe for him to marry until he gets them out of the way. He knows it very well, but what's more, the family knows it.
Ah, family. Rich, I take it.
Rich isn't quite the word I would use. They're something else.
You mean, oh God, which of them?
I didn't tell you that, lad.
Well, this here girl, the sister of the one who died. How'd you manage to get her into it?
I picked her up, of course, and sympathized and consoled. I invited her to stay with me at my house in London. Jimmy came over and took this place, and then when I brought her along a week later, it was all ready in a private desk safe for the letters and the jewelry.
Aye, and a combination lock and all. Everything worked smooth until a couple of weeks ago, when we began to hear from a firm of London solicitors. Some veiled proposals were made, which showed that the time was coming. They wanted the things out of the way. But then suddenly, all negotiations on their side stopped. The next thing for me to do was to threaten, of course, and I wanted the letters for this, but when I went to get them, I found that in some way the girl had managed to change the lock on us. The numbers were wrong, and we couldn't frighten or starve her into opening the bloody thing.
Well, it won't take long to rectify that little error. What really strange is why they cut off their offers like that. Can you make head or tails of that?
Aye, simple enough, really. They got in Sherlock Holmes on the case.
What's that? Is Holmes in this? I'll get that box open. You just send a telegraph, that's all I ask. Where's the nearest telegraph office?
Round the corner.
I'll run for it. That's for Alf Bassick. He's Professor Moriarty's fixer. Professor Moriarty's king of them all in London. He runs everything that's shady. And now he's beginning to find out Holmes is tracking him down. And there's the devil to pay. He wants any cases Holmes is on. It's a dead fight between them.
Go on, Jim. I've heard of this Professor Moriarty. What does he do?
I'll tell you one thing he does. He sits at home, quiet and easy, and runs every big operation it's on. And if there's a slip and the police get wind of it, they can't touch him. There's never any hold on him. And what's more, they wouldn't want to if they could.
Why not?
Because they tried it, that's why. And the men as did try was found shortly after, floating in the river. That's if they was found at all.
What's the idea of telling him about this?
I'll tell you, he'll come into anything Holmes is on. He wants to trap her.
Well, Sid, how goes it?
All right then, almost got it.
She's taken them out. She's got them.
She wants to get even, you say?
Yes, yes.
Well, then, if she got them out of the box there, ain't it quite likely she sent them along to the girl he wants to marry?
Nah, she could not get them out of this room. We've watched her too close for that. Oh, I'll get her down. She'll tell us where they are, or she'll strangle for it.
What's he going to do?
There's only one thing, Sid. We've got to get it out of her, or the whole 2 years' work is wasted.
Look here. I don't much fancy this sort of thing.
Don't you worry. We'll attend to it.
Now, we'll see whether you will or not. Now, Madge, tell her what we want.
You needn't tell me. I know well enough.
Oh, no, dear. You don't know. It isn't anything about locks or keys or numbers this time. We want to know what you've done with them.
You will not know from me.
Aye, we will know from you, lass, and we'll know before.
Wait, Jim. Let me speak to her first. Don't you think, dear, it's about time to remember that you owe us a little consideration? Wasn't it something, just a little something, that we found you friendless and ill in Homburg and befriended you?
It was only to rob me.
Wasn't it something that we brought you across to England with us, that we kept you here in our own home and supported and cared for you?
So you could rob me.
My dear child, you have nothing of value. That package of letters won't bring you 6p.
Then why do you want it? Why do you persecute me and starve me to get it? All your friendship to me was a pretense, a sham.
Why, we have no idea of such a thing.
I don't believe you.
Well, believe me then, lassie. You're gonna tell us what you've done with that package before you leave this room tonight.
Not if you kill me.
It isn't killing that's gonna do it. It's something else. Now, speak quick, or I'll give you a turn that'll take it out of you.
Be careful, Jimmy!
Is this any time to be careful? I tell you, we've got to get it out of her, and we'll do it too.
Gentlewoman to see you, sir, ma'am.
Who is it?
She did not give her name. Most persuasive. Tall, slim woman in a long coat, soft hat, narrow face, carries an ebony cane.
Sherlock Holmes! She's here!
Tell her we are not receiving visitors.
Right. No, that won't do, you know. It looks crooked at the start.
Aye, he's right. We'll have her in. And come easy the innocent.
There's the girl.
Aye, now take her up the back stairway.
She's in poor health and can't see anyone. You understand?
Yes. Now, quick, lock her in the room and stay by the door. Now, you get out the back and keep quiet there till Holmes gets in the house. Then you come around the front.
Right. So I come around the front after she's in the house.
Aye. Now be ready for when she comes out. If she's got the things in spite of us, I'll give you 2 sharp whistles. If you didn't hear it, you let her pass.
Right. But if I do hear the 2 whistles...
Then you let her have it.
Right.
Go on. Answer the bell. Oh, Miss, Madam Holmes, I believe?
Yes, sir.
And who did you wish to see, madam?
Oh, not you in the least, sir. I sent my card by the butler upstairs to Miss Alice Faulkner.
Oh, very well.
Miss Faulkner begs Madam Holmes to excuse her. She is not well enough to see anyone this evening.
Hand Miss Faulkner this note and tell her that I have urgent business to do with her.
I beg your pardon, madam, but it is quite useless. Miss Faulkner is, I regret to say, quite an invalid. She is unable to see anyone. Her health is just so poor.
Mm-hmm. Go on, take it up.
You know, Madam Holmes, you interest me very much.
Yes.
Upon my word, we've all heard of your wonderful methods, your marvelous insight, and the astonishing manner in which you gain information from the most trifling details. Now, I dare say, in this brief moment or two, you've discovered any number of things about me?
Nothing of consequence, Mr. Chetwood. I have scarcely more than asked myself why you rushed off and sent that telegram in such a frightened hurry, and what there can possibly be about the safe in the lower part of that desk to cause you such painful anxiety.
Very good. Very good indeed. If those things were only true now, I'd be wonderfully impressed. It would be absolutely wonderful.
A note for you.
It's from Miss Faulkner. Yes. She begs to be allowed to see Madam Holmes. She absolutely implores it. Well, I suppose I shall have to give way. Judson?
Sir?
Ask Miss Faulkner to come down to the drawing room. Say that Madam Holmes is waiting to see her.
Ah. Yes, sir.
May I ask, Madam Holmes, if it's not an impertinent question, what message you sent up that could have so aroused Miss Faulkner's desire to come down?
Oh, merely that if she wasn't down here in 5 minutes, I'd go up.
Alice, or that is Miss Faulkner, let me introduce Madam Sherlock Holmes.
Madam Holmes,
Miss Faulkner.
I'm really most charmed to meet you, although it does look as if you have made me come down in spite of myself, doesn't it? The doctor has forbidden me to see anyone, but when Cousin Freddie here said I might come, of course that fixed the responsibility on him, so I've a perfectly clear conscience.
I thank you very much for consenting to see me, Miss Faulkner, but regret that you were put to the trouble of making such a very rapid change of dress.
Oh, yes, I did hurry a trifle, I confess. Madam Holmes is quite living up to her reputation, isn't she, Freddie?
She didn't quite live up to it a moment ago. She's been telling me the most astonishing things. She wanted to know what there was about the safe in the lower part of the desk that had caused me such horrible anxiety.
Oh, there is a safe there, madam, but there's nothing in it. Really, that's just too droll. You might try on me.
It is very easy to discern one thing about Miss Faulkner, and that is she is particularly fond of the piano, that her touch is exquisite, her expression wonderful, and her technique extraordinary. While she likes light music very well, she's extremely fond of some of the great masters, among whom are Chopin, Liszt. She plays a great deal indeed. I see it as her chief diversion, which makes it all the more remarkable that she has not touched the piano for 3 days.
That's certainly better than she did for me.
I'm glad to somewhat repair my shattered reputation.
But tell me, how did you know so much about my technique?
Your hands.
And my preference for the composers you mentioned?
Your music rack.
Oh, how simple. But you said I hadn't played for 3 days. How did you...
The keys, a light layer of dust.
Dust. Oh dear, I never knew trees to forget before. I shall have to ask Judson to speak to her. You must think us very untidy, I'm sure.
Quite the reverse. I see from many things that you are not untidy in the least, and therefore I am compelled to conclude that the failure of Therese is due to some unusual excitement or disturbance that has recently taken place in this house.
You're doing very well, Madam Holmes.
Thanks.
You called, ma'am. I heard my name.
Oh, no, Judson, I simply was mentioning to Madam Holmes...
Actually, Judson, since you are here, I wish to send my card to Miss Faulkner.
And what gives you the right to give orders in my house?
What gives you the right to prevent my cards from reaching their destination? And how does it happen that you and this woman are resorting to trickery and deceit to prevent me from seeing Alice Faulkner? Through some trifling oversight, Judson, neither of the cards I have handed you have been delivered.
My orders, madam, was
Oh,
simply...
so you have orders. You were told not to deliver my card.
And what business is this of yours, I'd like to know?
I shall satisfy your curiosity on that point in a very short time.
I will call the police.
You will not. You will remain where you are until the lady I came here to see has entered the room.
And what makes you so sure of that?
Because you will infinitely prefer to avoid an investigation of your very suspicious conduct, Mr. James Larrabee. An investigation that shall certainly take place if you presume further to interfere with my business.
Shall I go, sir?
Go on. Take up the card. It makes no difference to me.
If Alice comes down, can't the detective get the papers away from her?
If Holmes gets a hold of them, Sid Prince is waiting outside.
You wish to see me?
Very much indeed, Miss Faulkner, but I'm sorry to see you are far from well.
I don't know who you are, madam, or why you're here.
I shall be very glad to explain. My business is this. I have been consulted as to the possibility of obtaining from you certain letters and other things which are supposed to be in your possession and which, I need not tell you, are the source of the greatest anxiety.
It is quite true I have such letters, madam, but it will be impossible to get them from me. Others have tried and failed.
I have come to you frankly and directly to beg you to pity and forgive.
There are some things, madam, beyond pity, beyond forgiveness.
But there are other things which are not. I am able to assure you of the sincere penitence, the deep regret of the one who inflicted the injury, and of his earnest desire to make any reparation in his power.
How can reparation be made to the dead?
How indeed? And for that very reason, whatever injury you yourself may be able to inflict by means of these things can be no reparation. You will be acting for the living, not the dead. For your own satisfaction, Miss Faulkner, your own gratification, your own revenge.
I know from this and from other things that have happened that a marriage is contemplated.
It is quite true.
I cannot give up what I intend to do, madam. There are other things besides revenge. There is punishment. There is nothing more to say. Good night, Madam Holmes.
But my dear Miss Faulkner, before you go... What's that?
Mr. Chatwood! Mr. Chatwood!
What is it?
What is it?
The lamp in the kitchen chair, it fell off the table and everything down there is blazing, sir!
The house is on fire!
Don't alarm yourself, Miss Faulkner. There is no fire.
No fire?
The smoke was all arranged for by me.
Arranged for?
In the moment before I told you that the fire was a mere pretense, I observed that your eyes darted involuntarily for this chair there. And yes, behind this upholstery... Ah, yes. Here it is. You see, the fire was arranged for so that I might obtain this package of letters, Miss Faulkner. I won't take them, Miss Faulkner. As you very likely conjecture, the alarm of the fire was only to make you betray their hiding place, which you did, and I availed myself of that betrayal, as you see. But now that I witness your great distress, I find I cannot keep them. Unless you can possibly change your mind and let me have them of your own free will. I hardly supposed you could. I will therefore return it to you.
Oh, you've got them, have you? And now I suppose we're going to see you walk out of the house with them.
On the contrary, you're going to see me return them to their rightful owner.
I think that'll be the safest thing for Madam Sherlock Holmes to do.
You flatter yourself, Mr. Larrabee. It is on account of this young lady. Miss Faulkner, permit me to place this in your hands. Should you ever change your mind and be so generous, forgiving, as to wish to return these letters to the one who wrote them, you have my address. In any event, rest assured there will be no more cruelty, no more persecution in this house. You are perfectly safe with your property now, for I shall so arrange that your faintest cry of distress will be heard. And if that cry is heard, it will be a very unfortunate thing for those who are responsible. Good night, Miss Faulkner. As for you, sir, and you, madam, I beg you to understand that you continue your persecution of that young lady at your peril. Good evening.
Well, she didn't get it, did she?
Alice gave it to her.
What? Holmes found it? Well, here I say, what are we waiting for? And now's the chance for the girl hides it again.
Aye, you're right. It's all a cursed bluff by that Holmes.
No, Jim.
I tell you we will. Now's our chance to get a hold of it. What was that?
Holmes has got us watched. What we want to do is leave it alone and let the Emperor have had her.
Do you mean Professor Moriarty?
That's who I mean. He'll settle it with Holmes pretty quick. Meet me at Leary's, 9 sharp in the morning. And don't you worry a minute. I'll tell you the Professor will get at her before tomorrow night. And when he strikes, it means death.
Professor James Moriarty. The man pervades London, yet no one has ever heard of him. He's the Napoleon of crime, the organizer of half that is evil, and of nearly all that is undetected in this great city. He's a genius, a philosopher, an abstract thinker. He sits motionless like a spider in the center of its web. But that web has 1,000 radiations, and he knows well every quiver of each of them. He does little himself. He only plans. His agents may be caught, but the central power is never caught. Never so much as suspected. It is therefore to Professor Moriarty's underground office that we must turn for the next chapter in our tale. A large, vault-like room with very rough walls and vaulted ceiling. The masonry has long ago been whitewashed, and it is now all stained and grimy, every inch of it covered in maps of England, France, Germany, Russia, many other countries, annotated in a neat hand. In a place of prominence hangs a marked map of London, accompanied by many charts of buildings, plans of floors, possible tunnelings, the battle plans of the underworld's most notorious general. And here is the man himself, seated at his desk, sorting through a vast quantity of morning mail, the bureaucracy of his vast criminal empire.
Bashak, that's Blaisdell matter. Did you learn anything more?
The whole thing was a trap, set and baited by an expert.
Sherlock Holmes again. She is gradually completing chains of evidence. Watch, if we let her go on, we'll reach to me as sure as the sun will rise. She is playing a rather dangerous game. Inspector Wilson tried it 7 years ago. Wilson is dead. And 2 years later, Henderson took it up. We haven't heard anything from Henderson lately, eh?
Not a thing, sir.
Now, this Holmes is a rather talented woman, but she doesn't know that there isn't a street in London that be safe for her if I whisper her name to Cregan. I might even make her a little cone myself, just for the satisfaction of it. I hope it's Baker Street, isn't it?
Baker Street, sir?
We can make it safe. We can make it absolutely secure first 3 streets away.
Yes, sir, but...
We could. We've done it before. All over and over again. Police to guide, my people in every doorway. Do this tonight at Baker Street at 9 o'clock. Call her attendants out on one pretext or another. And keep them out. Do you understand? I'll see Sherlock Holmes myself. I'll give her a chance for her life. And if she declines to treat with me...
Yes, I got your telegram, Prince, but I have an important matter on. You'll have to wait. Who? Wait a moment. Said Prince has come here over some job, and he says he's got Holmes fighting against him.
Ask him what else. Ask him!
What's the name? He says there's 2 with him. A man and a woman named Larrabee.
Sandeman, you stand over there and keep your eye from behind. Now, I understand you have something with Sherlock Holmes against you.
Yes, sir. We have.
Kindly let me have the particulars. And Holmes didn't get those letters.
Well, she did get them. But then she passed them back to the Faulkner girl.
Passed them back, eh? What does that mean?
And there's another thing that puzzles me. There was an accident below in the kitchen. A lamp had fallen off the table and scattered burning oil about. And the butler came running up, yelling fire. But when we ran down there, a few buckets of water put it out.
First thing we must do is get rid of your butler. Not a mere discharge of services, but a proper disposal. Look Kragan for that. Today, as soon as it's dark. Now, have you seen those letters though, and the photographs and whatever else there may be?
I have, sir. I looked through them very carefully several times.
Did you make me a counterfeit set of those things and tie them up so they look like exactly like the package Sherlock Holmes held in her hand last night? I shall want this counterfeit package at 11 tonight. 12 hours to make it.
It will be ready, sir.
I shall notify the Lascar that I may require the gas chamber at Stepney tonight. The one backing over the river. And Kragan there 12:15 with 2 others. Now, Mr. Larrabee, I shall want you to write a letter to Holmes, which I shall dictate, and tonight I may require a little assistance from you. Meet me here at 11.
Ah, that's all very well, sir. But you haven't said anything about the business arrangements. I'm not sure that I can...
You have no choice. I do as I please, and it pleases me to take this case.
Aye, well, what about pleasing me?
Now, I'm not so sure, but I shall be able to do that as well. See, I will obtain the original letters for Miss Faulkner and negotiate for much more than you could possibly obtain. Now, in addition, you will have an opportunity to sell the counterfeit package to Holmes tonight for a good round sum. And the money obtained for both of these sources shall be divided as follows. You will take 100% and I nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing, but we cannot negotiate those letters until we know who they incriminate. And Mr. Larrabee has not yet informed us he is wise to exercise caution. He values the keystone of his arch, but he will consent to let me know.
Professor Moriarty, that information we would like to give only to you.
This is an absolute certainty.
Aye, absolute.
And that means you have a fortune. Had I known this, you should hardly have had such terms. And yet, the arrangement is made. Mr. Larrabee, I bid you good morning. Buzzard, place your people at 9 tonight for Sherlock Holmes' house in Baker Street.
You will go there yourself, sir?
I will go there myself. Myself. I am the one to attend to this.
But this meeting tonight at 12 to trap Holmes in the gas chamber in Swandam Lane?
If I fail to kill her in Baker Street, we'll trap her tonight in Swandam Lane. Either way, I have her, Buzzard. I have her. I have her.
Finally, we come to Sherlock Holmes, my excellent friend. She's to be found tonight in Baker Street, in the large drawing room of her apartments. It's an open, cheerful room, but not too much decorated. The walls are plain tint and the furniture is comfortable and goodly, but not elegant. Books, music, violin, tobacco pouches, pipes, tobacco, they're all scattered in places all about the room with some disorder. Through a large arch, one might catch a glimpse of a laboratory and a table with chemicals and various knickknacks. Holmes herself lounges upon cushions on the floor before the fire. In just a moment, I myself will enter the story at last. But for now...
Miss Wodson's compliments, ma'am, and she wants to know what you'll have for your breakfast in the morning.
Same.
Same as when, ma'am?
This morning.
You didn't have nothing this morning. You wasn't here.
Quite so. I won't be here tomorrow.
Oh, very well, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. And downstairs, a gentleman. It's Dr. Watson. You told me I could always show him up.
Well, I should think so.
Very good, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Dr. Watson, ma'am.
Watson, my dear fellow.
How are you, Holmes?
I'm delighted to see you, my dear fellow. Perfectly delighted, but upon my word, I'm sorry to observe that your wife has left you in this way.
Well, she's gone on a little visit, but how did you know?
Oh, how do I know? Now, Watson, how perfectly absurd for you to ask such a question as that. How do I know that you've opened a consulting room and resumed the practice of medicine without letting me hear a word about it? How do I know that you've been getting yourself rather wet lately? That you have an extremely careless servant girl and that you've moved your dressing table to the other side of your room?
Why, Holmes, if you'd lived a few centuries ago, they'd have burned you alive. Tell me, how did you know all that?
Oh, it's too simple to talk about, really. Scratches and clumsy cuts on the other side of the shoe, there, just where the fire strikes it. Somebody scraped away crusted mud and did it badly. Ha ha! There's your wet feet and your careless servant girl, all on one foot. Face badly shaved on one side, used to be on the left. The light must have come from the other side. You couldn't very well move your window. Must have moved your dressing table.
Well, yes, by Jove. But my medical practice, I don't see how you
now,
could...
Watson, how perfectly absurd for you to come marching in here, fairly reeking with the odor of odoroform, and with the black mark of the nitrate of silver on the inner side of your right forefinger, and ask me how I know.
Well, of course. But how the deuce did you know my wife was away? And how
where the deuce is your second waistcoat button? And what the deuce is yesterday's boutonniere doing in today's lapel? Elementary. The child's play of deduction. Now, Watson, to change the subject a little. In the enthusiasm which has prompted you to chronicle, and if you will excuse my saying so, somewhat embellish a few of my little adventures, you have occasionally committed the error, or indiscretion, of giving them a certain tinge of romance, which struck me as being a trifle out of place. I merely refer to this in case you should see fit, at some future time, to chronicle the most important and far-reaching case in my career, one upon which I have laboured for nearly 14 months, and which is now rapidly approaching a singularly diverting climax, the case of Professor James Moriarty.
Moriarty?
Mm-hmm. The real interest will come when the professor begins to realise his position, which he cannot fail to do shortly. By 10 o'clock tomorrow night, the time will be ripe for the arrests.
Well, Good, but what would he do when he sees that you have him?
He will do me the honor, my dear Watson, of turning every resource of his wonderful organization of criminals to the one purpose of my destruction.
Oh, Holmes, this is a dangerous thing.
Dear Watson, it's perfectly delightful. My whole life is spent in a series of frantic endeavors to escape from the dreary commonplaces of existence. For a brief period, I escape. You ought to congratulate me.
Well, but you could escape them without such serious risks. Your other cases have not been so dangerous, and they were even more interesting. Now take the one you spoke of the last time I saw you. The recovery of those damaging letters and gifts from a young girl. Didn't the plan succeed? You got Foreman into the house as a butler.
Yes, Foreman was in as butler.
Yes, and upon your signal, she overturned a lamp in the kitchen? And the young lady, did she?
Yes, she did, Watson. It all transpired precisely as planned. I took the packet of letters from its hiding place, and, as I told you, I handed it back to Miss Faulkner.
But you never told me why you proposed to hand it back.
It would have been theft for me to take it. The contents of the packet were the absolute property of the young lady.
What did you gain by this?
Her confidence. And, as far as I was able to secure it, her regard. I expect Foreman here to report in about a half an hour.
I beg you to pardon me, sir, the boy. He said to come right up as soon as I come. I fear me there is trouble. Monsieur, madame, the butler, you assistant, the one who sent me to you?
Foreman?
We have Foreman. Foreman, there is something done to her. I fear to go down to see.
Down where?
The how you say, the cellar of that house. It is a dreadful place. She did not come back. She went down. She did not return.
Has she been down there long?
No, for soon. I suspect the dreadful noise was heard. The noise?
What noise? What noise?
The noise.
Try to be calm and do answer me. What did it sound like?
The dreadful cry of a woman who is struck down by a deadly thing.
Billy! Coat, boots, and order a cab, quick!
Yes, ma'am.
Watson, take this and come with me. Ah, I hear Foreman coming now.
Nothing more to report last night, ma'am. After you left, Prince came in, they made a stop for her room to get the package away, but it gave 3 knocks with an axe on the floor beams as you directed, and they didn't go any farther. This morning, a little after 9, Larrabee and his wife...
One moment. Mademoiselle, step into that room and rest yourself.
I am not tired.
Well, step in and walk about then. I will let you know when you are required.
Oui, madame.
Very well. A little after 9, you say?
This morning, a little after 9, Larrabee and his wife drove away and she returned about 11 without him. A little later, Olufner came and the two went to work in the library. I got a look at them from the outside and found they were making up a counterfeit of the package we're working for.
And Larrabee, what of him?
He came back a little after 3.
How did he seem?
Under great excitement, madam.
Any marked resentment towards you?
I think there was, madam, though he tried not to show it.
He has consulted someone outside. Was the Larrabee woman's behavior different also?
Now I come to think of it, she gave me an ugly look as she came in.
Aha! An ugly look. She was present at the consultation. They were advised to get you out of the way. He sent you into the cellar under some pretext. You were attacked in the dock by 2 people, possibly 3, and received a bad blow from a sand club. You managed to strike one of your assailants with a stone or a piece of timber and escaped from the others in the dock, crawling through a coal grating.
What took place, madam?
They've taken a partner, and a dangerous one at that. He not only directed this conspiracy against you, but he advised in the making of the counterfeit package as well. Within a very short time, I shall receive an offer from the Larrabees to sell the package of letters. He will indicate that Miss Faulkner changed her mind, has concluded to get what she can for them. He will desire to meet me on the subject, and will then endeavour to sell me this bogus package for a large sum of money. After that, he might...
Letter, ma'am. Most important letter, ma'am.
Unless I am greatly mistaken. Said communication is at hand. Yes, it is. Read it, Watson. There's a good fellow.
Dear Madam, I have the honor to inform you that Miss Faulkner has changed her mind regarding the letters, etc., which you wish to obtain, and has decided to dispose of them for a monetary consideration. If you wish to negotiate, however, it must be tonight at 11 o'clock. You will be at the Guards Monument at the foot of Waterloo Place. You will see a cab with wooden shutters to the windows. Enter it, and the driver will bring you to me. Let me know your decision. Yours truly, James Larrabee.
Billy! Who brought it?
To be a woman, ma'am.
Old or young?
Very old, ma'am.
Hand this over to the old lady, apologize for the delay, and look to the driver.
Yes, ma'am.
My dear Holmes, you did not say you would go. It's the counterfeit.
The counterfeit is what I want.
Why so?
Because with it, I shall obtain the original. Mademoiselle? Be so good, mademoiselle, as to listen to every word. Tonight, at 12 o'clock, I meet Mr. Larrabee and purchase from him the false bundle of letters, which you just now heard us refer to as you were listening at the keyhole of the door.
Oui, madame.
I wish Miss Faulkner to know at once that I propose to buy this package tonight, but do not tell her that I know this packet and its contents to be counterfeit. She is to suppose that I think I am buying the genuine.
Oui, je comprends. When you purchase, you think you have the real.
Yes, and one thing more. Tomorrow evening, I shall want you to accompany her to this place here. Dame Edward Layton and Count von Stahlberg will be here to receive the package from me. However, you will receive further instructions as to this in the morning.
Oui, madame.
Foreman, change to your beggar disguise number 14, and then go through every place in the Riverside district. Don't stop till you get a clue as to this new partner of the Larrabees.
Very well, madam.
If you please, ma'am, there's an individual waiting at the street door, and they says they must speak to Miss Faulkner, ma'am, as quick as she can.
Show them up.
They can't come up, ma'am. They's a watching someone in the street. They says they's from Scotland Yard.
I better see what it is, ma'am.
Be ready for anything.
Trust me for that, ma'am.
Billy, see that they do.
Yes, ma'am.
Look here, Holmes. You've been so kind as to give me half a look into this case. This strange case of Miss...
One moment, my dear fellow. Billy! Is she there still?
No, ma'am. They's gone.
That's all.
Yes, ma'am.
As you were saying, Watson, this strange case of Miss Faulkner.
Yes. You've given me some idea of it. Now, would you please tell me what you propose to do with that counterfeit package, which you're going to risk your life to obtain?
I intend, with the aid of the counterfeit, to make her willingly hand me the genuine. I shall accomplish this by a piece of trickery and deceit of which I am heartily ashamed, and which I never would have undertaken if I had known her as I do now. It's too bad. She's rather a nice girl, Watson.
Oh, a nice girl, is she?
Beg pardon, ma'am. Miss Foreman's just sent over from the chemist on the corner to say her head is a pain in her a bit, and would Dr. Watson kindly come over and get her something to put on it?
Yes, certainly. It didn't look like anything serious. I'll be back in a moment, Holmes.
Who brought that message from Foreman?
Apprentice from the chemist, ma'am.
Yes, of course, but which apprentice?
Must have been a new one, ma'am. I ain't never seen him before.
Quick, Billy, run down there and look after the doctor. If the boy's gone and there's someone with him, it means mischief. Let me know quick. Don't stop to come up. Ring the doorbell and I'll hear it. Ring it loud. Quick now.
Yes, ma'am.
It has a dangerous habit to finger-load firearms in the pocket of one's dressing gown.
You'll be taken from here to the hospital if you keep that hand behind you. In that case, the table will do quite as well for that firearm. I can spare 5 minutes, if you have anything to say. What were you about to do?
Look at my watch.
I'll tell you when the 5 minutes is up.
All I have to say has already crossed your mind.
My answer thereto has already crossed yours.
It is your intention to pursue this case against me.
That is my intention to the very end.
Oh, I regret this. I mean, not so much on my own account, but on yours.
I share your regrets, Professor, but solely because of the rather uncomfortable position it will cause you to occupy.
You are a bold woman, Holmes, to insinuate such a thing to my face. But is the boldness born of ignorance? Do you think that I would be here if I had not made the streets quite safe in every respect?
Oh no, I could never so grossly overestimate your courage as that.
Do you imagine your friend the doctor and your assistant foreman will soon return?
Possibly not.
So it leaves us quite alone, doesn't it, Holmes? Quite alone. But we can talk the matter over quietly and not be disturbed. Now listen to me. On the 4th of January, you crossed my path, and on the 23rd, you incommoded me. And now, at the close of April, I found myself placed in such a position through your continual interference that I am in a position of danger of losing my liberty.
Have you any suggestion to make?
No, I have no suggestions to make. I have a fact to state. If you do not drop it at once, your life is not worth that.
I shall be pleased to drop it. At 10 o'clock tomorrow night.
Why then?
Because at that hour, Moriarty, your life will not be worth that. You will be under arrest.
At that hour, Sherlock Holmes, your eyes will be closed in death. You have seen fit not only to reject my proposal, but to make insane references coupled with threats of arrest.
Quite so.
Yeah. You have been warned of your danger. You do not heed that warning. Perhaps you will heed this.
Here. I didn't suppose you'd want to use that thing again, so I took all your cartridges out and put them in my pocket. You'll find them all there, Professor. Billy!
Yes, ma'am.
Show this gentleman nicely to the door.
Yes, ma'am. This way, sir.
Holmes, ye careen toward inevitable destruction. Ye stand in the way of not merely an individual, but of a mighty organisation, the full extent of which you, with all your cleverness, have been unable to realise. You must stand clear, Holmes, or be trotted underfoot.
If I were assured of your inevitable destruction, I would, in the interests of the public, cheerfully accept my own. Good evening, Professor. Boring, dull, predictable. But the next act of this little drama promises to be rather more interesting.
I had long ago been forced to admit that Holmes was addicted to danger, a drug that would prove to be, in the end, more deadly than any chemical to which she might have otherwise devoted herself. On this particular occasion, her devotion would lead her to the gas chamber at Stepney, a large, dark, grimy room on an upper floor of an old building, crouching against the wharfs. The plasters cracking off to reveal the decaying masonry, giving the space an uncanny and gruesome appearance. A dented door leads to the landing and then to the entrance, and another, standing ajar, leads to a small cupboard in the corner, which is both empty and equally dilapidated. The single large window is nailed with spike nails securely shut, and its grimy and dirty glass let in only the barest glow of the dim street lamps. The room is occupied, but this is not obvious until a seamy-looking little man enters with a dim lantern. He shines it about the room, nods respectfully at the other two individuals he finds looming in the deep shadows, one slumped glum and motionless on a battered crate, and the other one sitting on a scuffed table, with his feet propped up on a wobbling chair. They are all three dressed in dark clothes and wear felt-soled shoes. They are all three Moriarty's people through and through.
What's McTagg doing here?
I was sent here.
I thought the Seraph was with us on this job.
He ain't.
Yeah, what's this here job he wants done?
I ain't been told.
Nice old place to find this here is.
You don't like that. It ain't safe.
Looks all right to me.
Well, don't light no matches and it'll stay looking the same.
Right.
Oh, Prince, you're here. I was looking for you outside.
Show me the way here, Your Excellency.
Oh, very well. You've got the rope, Kragan?
It's here.
That you, Leary?
Here, Your Excellency.
And McTagg.
Yeah.
You want to be very careful with it tonight. You've got a tough one.
You ain't said who, as I've heard.
Sherlock Holmes.
I'll be cursed glad to put the gas on her, I'll tell you that.
I say the same myself.
Shh, Professor Moriarty's coming.
Where's Kragan? Have you got your people?
All here, sir.
That door, Bossack.
A small cupboard, sir.
Empty, no outlet.
None whatsoever, sir.
That window.
Nailed down, sir.
I might break the glass.
If they did that, they'd come against heavy iron bars outside.
We'll have her tied down afore she can break any glass, sir.
Airtight.
Every crevice is caulked, sir.
When you will turn the gas on her, you will leave by that door.
Yes, sir. Heavy bolts on the outside, sir, and solid bars overall.
Kragan, you'll take your people out that door and wait till Mr. Larrabee has had a little business interview with the gentlewoman. Take them up the passage to the left so that Holmes does not see them as she comes in. We must have a lamp here.
Better not, sir. There might be some gas left.
You've got a light there.
It's a safety lamp, sir.
Safety lamp! You mustn't have that there. The moment she sees that, she'll know what you're doing and make trouble. There's hardly any gas going to Lascaux. We must have a good lamp. Now, Kragan, and the rest of you, one thing to remember. No shooting tonight. Not a single shot. It can be hard in the alley below. The first thing is to get her revolver away before she has a chance to use it.
I'll attend to it, sir.
Put out that safety lamp.
We'll want it when the other's taken away.
She mustn't see it, understand?
Now, don't put it out. Cover it with something.
Here, I'll put it in this box up against the wall.
That'll do. Now, Mr. Larrabee,
I understand, sir.
when you have quite finished and got your money, blow that little whistle which I've observed hanging from your watch chain, and these gentle persons will take their turn, and Cregan, at the proper moment, present my compliments to Sherlock Holmes and say that I wish her a pleasant journey to the other side.
You'd better put that rope out of sight.
Into the barrel it goes till we needs it.
You understand, sir. We're just around the far turn of the passage, so she won't see us as she's coming up. And it's when we hears the whistle, eh?
Aye, when you hear this whistle.
Right then, we're off.
Well, look here, Jim. This sort of thing ain't so much in my line. When it comes to shying a safe or drilling into bank vaults, I feel perfectly at home. But I don't care too much to see a woman. Well, it ain't my line.
I said, all I want of you is to go down to the corner below and let me know when she comes.
Right. How will I let you know?
Have you got a whistle?
Certainly.
Well, when you see her, you come down the alley and you blows it twice.
Right. But ain't I quite likely to call a cab at the same time?
What more do you want? You take the cab and you go home.
Right. Then you don't need me here again.
Oh, saints preserve us, no.
Very well. I'll tear myself away.
And how did you get to this place?
I followed you in a cab.
And what have you been doing since I came up here? Informing the police, perhaps?
No. I was afraid she'd come, so I waited.
To warn her, very likely.
Yes.
Then it's just as well that you came up.
I came to make sure that something else is not going to be done besides what they told me.
So, we have another spy in the house then.
You're going to swindle and deceive her, I know that. Is there anything else?
And what could you do if there was?
I could buy you off. Such men as you are always open to sale.
And how much would you give?
The genuine package, the real ones, all the proofs. Everything.
You'll do all that for this woman? You think she's your friend, I suppose. Well, look at what she's doing now. Coming here to buy those things off of me.
They're false. They're counterfeit.
Aye, but she thinks they're genuine. She'd hardly come here to buy them if she didn't.
She may ask my permission still.
But she will not get the chance now, will she?
Then there is something else.
Why, you see me here myself, don't you? I'm going to talk to her on a wee bit of business. And how could I do her any harm?
Where are those people who came up here?
What people?
3 villainous-looking persons. I saw them go in at the street door. I'll look in the passageway if you please.
Aye, but I dinna please.
You wouldn't dare keep me here.
I might dare, but I won't. You'd only be in the way.
I knew it. You're going to do her some harm.
Oh, no. It's only a wee little joke. At her expense.
You wanted the letters, the package I had in the safe. I'll tell you where it is. I'll give you my word not to say anything to anyone if you'll promise not to go on with this.
Oh, certainly. I promise. Now, where is it?
Just outside my bedroom window. Just outside on the left. fastened between the shutter and the wall. You can easily find it. Now, tell them. Tell them to go.
Tie her up so she cannot make a noise. Keep her out there until we have Holmes in here, and then let O'Hagan keep her in his cab. She mustn't get back to the house. Not till I've been there, anyway.
No, please.
Leary, get some of the rope to Craig in there.
No. You said if I told you.
Well, we haven't done her any harm yet now, have we? By God, Holmes is here. That's Sid Prince. I put him on the watch.
We won't have time to get the girl out.
Aye, so just quick, shut her in the cupboard.
In with her. There ain't no lock on this here door.
Then just drive something in.
Here, this knife.
A knife won't hold that bloody door shut.
Well, yes, it will. Drive it in strong through the door into the frame.
There, that'll have to do.
Quick then, back out on the passage.
How the devil is it that you crooks always manage to hit on the same scoundrelly places for your scoundrelly business? Well, I certainly thought after all this driving around in a closed cab, you'd show me something new.
Seen it before, have you?
Well, I should think so. A brace of counterfeiters used these regal chambers in the spring of '90. One of them hid in that cupboard. We pulled her out by the heels.
Quite interesting. But times have changed since then.
So they have, Mr. Larrabee. So they have. Then it was only cracks, counterfeiters, and petty swindlers of various kinds. Now... Excuse me one moment. This window is... Ah, yes. My surmise was correct. It is.
'Tis what?
Corked.
And what does that signify to us?
Oh, nothing to us, Mr. Larrabee. Nothing to us. But it might signify a good deal to some poor devil who's been caught in this trap.
Oh, well, if it's nothing to us, I suppose we leave it and get to business. My time is limited. Here's the little packet, which is the object of this meeting. Now, as you can see, I have not opened it yet, but Miss Faulkner tells me that everything is there.
Then there is no need of opening it, Mr. Larrabee. Miss Faulkner is a truthful young lady. Her word is sufficient.
Very well. Of course, we want a pretty large price for this. Miss Faulkner is giving up everything, after all. She would not be satisfied unless the results justified it.
Suppose, Mr. Larrabee, that as Miss Faulkner knows nothing whatever about this affair, we omit her name from the discussion.
And who told you she doesn't know?
You did. Every look, tone, gesture, everything you have said and done since I have been in this room has informed me that she never consented to this transaction.
I suppose you think you can read me like a book.
No, like a primer.
Well, I'll let that pass. This time. So, how much would you give?
£1,000.
I could not take away £1,000.
Well then, what do you ask?
5,000.
Couldn't give it.
Well, then we've had all this trouble for nothing. Why, you see, I've been offered 4,000 for this little
Well
thing.
then, why didn't you take it?
Because if they offered 4, they'll give 5.
They won't give anything. They've turned the case over to me.
Well, will you give 3,000?
Mr. Larrabee, strange as it may appear, my time is limited as well as yours. I have brought with me the sum of £1,000, which is all that I wish to pay. If it is your desire to sell at this figure, kindly appraise me of the fact at once. If not, permit me to wish you a very good evening.
Go on. You can have 'em. It's too small a matter to haggle over. Oh, I thought you said you'd give just 1,000.
I did. This is it.
But you brought a trifle more, I see.
Quite so. I didn't say I hadn't brought any more. Ha! Now I've got you where I want you, Jim Larrabee. You've been so cunning and so cautious and so wise we couldn't get a thing to hold you for. But this little slip, we'll get you in for robbery.
Robbery, eh? Why, even if you got away from here, you haven't got a witness.
I'm not so sure of that, Mr. Larrabee. Do you usually fasten that door with a knife? You contemptible scoundrel! What does this mean?
I'll show you what it means. Curse it quick.
I'm afraid you're badly hurt, Miss Faulkner. Ah, Kragan. Delighted to see you. And you too, McTague. I infer from your presence here at this particular juncture that I am not dealing with Mr. Larrabee alone. It is not difficult to imagine who is at the bottom of such a conspiracy as this. I hope you're beginning to feel a little more yourself, Miss Faulkner, because we will have to leave here very soon.
Oh, yes. Let us go, Madam Holmes.
We'll have to wait a bit, Holmes. We have a little matter of business we'd like to talk over. Have you got a revolver?
Here it is.
Ah, Leary, it is a pleasure indeed. It only needed your blithe personality to make the party complete. There is only one other that I could wish to welcome here, and that is the talented author of this Midnight Carnival.
Oh, he ain't here, Holmes. He gave me a message for you. He presented his kindest compliments, wished you a pleasant trip across.
It was very kind of him, I'm sure.
All right, in your I suppose.
No. Only a brief description of one or two of your delightful persons for the police. We all know the rest.
And when will you give it to him, Holmes?
In 9.5 minutes, Leary.
So, you expect to leave here in 9 minutes then, do you?
No. It will take me 8 minutes to find a member of the police force. This is a dangerous neighborhood.
You better listen to me, Holmes. We're gonna tie her down nice and tight to the top of that table.
Well, by Jove, I don't think you will.
Oh, Holmes!
Come away from her, Alice. Now you come over here if you didn't want to get hurt.
Miss Faulkner, if you don't want to get hurt, don't leave me for a moment.
Well, aren't you coming?
No.
You better look out, miss. She might get killed.
Then you can kill me too.
I'm afraid you don't mean that, Miss Faulkner.
Yes, I do.
But you would not say it at another time or place.
I would say it anywhere. Always.
So you'll have it out with us, eh?
Do you imagine for one moment, Kragan, that I won't have it out with you?
Well then, I'll have to give you one, same as I did your right-hand woman this afternoon.
You heard her say that, same as she did my right-hand woman this afternoon.
Yes, yes.
Don't forget that face. In 3 days, I shall ask you to identify it on the prisoner's dock. Yes, and the rest of you with her. You surprise me, all of you, thinking you're so sure of anybody in this room, and never once taking the trouble to look at that window. If you wanted to make it perfectly safe, you should have had those missing bars set in.
Bars or no bars, you're not going to get out of here as easy as you expect.
There are so many ways, Mr. Larrabee, I hardly know which one to choose.
Well, you better choose quick, I can tell you that.
I'll choose at once, Miss Kragan, and my choice is this.
Follow that cigar.
Look out, she's going for the window. Where is that bloody safety lamp?
I suppose you may give that cigarette to Professor Moriarty with my compliments, since that is all you have managed to capture this evening. Come, Miss Faulkner, we'll show ourselves out.
Bugger all!
And here I am in my own dear home in Kensington on the next evening, blissfully unaware of what Sherlock Holmes has been getting herself up to in the past 24 hours. My consulting room, all oak paneling and solid furniture. Large windows face the street. I require good light for my work, but they are provided blinds on rollers which can quickly be drawn down for privacy. As I am at this moment meeting with a lady, the blinds are down. On the other side of my desk sits a seedy-looking middle-aged woman with a medicine bottle in hand. Now be careful to make no mistake about the medicine. If she's no better tomorrow, I'll call you. You will let me know, of course.
Yes, indeed I will. Good evening, sir.
Yes, Parsons. Parsons, that woman who just left. Do you know her?
I can't say as I recollect. I haven't seen her before. Was there anything...
No. Just acted a bit strange, that's all. I thought I saw her looking about the hall before she went out. Oh, well, I dare say it was nothing. I shall be at Holmes's in Baker Street, Parsons. If there's anything special, you'll know where to send for me. The appointment is for 9. It's 15 minutes past 8 now. I'm going to walk over.
Very well, sir.
No, I won't see any more tonight. They must go to Dr. Anstruther.
Yes, sir. If you please, sir, it isn't a patient at all, sir. A lady, sir. And she wants to see you most particular, sir.
What does she want to see me about?
She didn't say, sir. All she said was that the utmost importance to her if she could see you, sir.
Very well. I was going to walk for the exercise, but I can take a cab.
Then you'll see the lady, sir?
Yes, and call a cab for me. Have it wait.
Yes, sir.
Ah, Doctor, it is awfully good of you to see me. I know what a busy man you must be, but I'm in such trouble. Oh, it's really, really too dreadful. You'll excuse my troubling you in this way, won't you?
Do not speak of it, madam.
Oh, thank you so much. For it did look frightful, my coming in like this, but I'm not alone. No. I left my maid in the cab. I'm Mrs. H. DeWitt Seaton. Dear me, I didn't bring my card case, or if I did, I lost it.
Yes, don't trouble about a card, Mrs. Seaton.
Oh, thank you. You don't know what I've been through this evening. It's just simply happened. I don't know. It wasn't his fault. I know it.
Well, whose fault?
My brother's. My poor dear youngest brother. He couldn't have done such a thing. He simply couldn't.
Such a thing as what, Mrs. Seaton?
As to take the plans of our defences at Gibraltar from the Admiralty offices. They think he stole them, Doctor, and they've arrested him for it. You see, he works there. He was the only one who knew about them in the whole office, because they trusted him so. He was to make copies, and oh, Doctor, it's really too dreadful. They said you were Sherlock Holmes' friend. Several people told me that. Several. It might me to ask where I could find you. Find her. And everything depends on it, Doctor. Everything!
Well, yes. Holmes, of course. She's the one you want. You must go to her at once.
But I've been, and she wasn't there. That's why I came to you.
Nope.
But she might be here.
She's not here.
Couldn't you get her to come? It would be such a great favor to me. I'm almost worn out with this horrible anxiety. If you could just get word to her to come.
I could not get her to come, madam. And I beg you to excuse me as I am going out myself on urgent business.
Oh, certainly. Don't let me detain you. And you think I'd better call at her house again?
That will be the wisest thing to do.
Oh, thank you so much. You don't know how you've encouraged me.
Well, what's that, Parsons?
I really can't say, sir, but it sounded to me like a accident.
Oh dear. I hope it isn't anything serious. It affects me most terribly to know that anyone is hurt.
There's the bell, sir. Somebody hurt, sir, and they're wanting you.
Well, don't allow anyone to come in. I have no more time.
We gotta bring them in, man.
There's nowhere else to go.
The doctor can't see anybody.
Well, we'll let her in. Gentle, let her. We can't. It's common decency.
They would bring her in, sir. It's an old gentleman. An old woman was hurt a bit when your cab upset.
Let them put her here and send it once for Dr. Anstruther.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Doctor, isn't it frightful?
Mrs. Seaton, if you'll be so good as to step this way.
But I may be of some use, Doctor. I must see the poor fellow. I haven't the power to go, and...
Madam, I believe you have some ulterior motive in coming here. You will kindly...
Now we'll go in here. You'll see the doctor.
Why didn't anyone stop the driver? These cabmen. What did you bring me in here for? I know where I am. It's a conspiracy. I won't stay in this place. If I ever get out of here alive.
Now, ma'am, if you'll be quiet for one moment, I'll have a look at you.
Don't let her get to that window.
Is that you, Holmes?
Quite so.
What do you want me to do?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You've done it. Don't do anything more just now.
Look out, Holmes! She's through the door. She can get out that way.
Oh, I don't think so.
Got him, madam!
Oh, good heavens, is that Foreman?
Indeed. Has Inspector Bradstreet come with her people?
Yes, madam. One of them's in the hall there, holding the Larrabee woman. The others are in the kitchen garden.
Watson, my dear fellow, as you doubtless gather from this little episode that has just taken place, we are making the arrests. The scoundrels are hot on my track. To get me out of the way is the one chance left to them, and I am taking advantage of their mad pursuit to draw them where we quietly lay our hands on them, one by one. We've made a pretty good haul already. 4 last night in the gas chamber, 7 this afternoon in various places, and 1 more just now. But I regret to say that up until this time, the Professor himself has so far not risen to the bait.
Where do you think he is now?
In the open streets, in some clever disguise, waiting for a chance to get at me.
Ah, and that woman was sent in here.
Oh, quite so, a spy, to let them know by some signal, probably at that window, if she found me in the house. And it has just occurred to me that that might not be a bad idea, to try the Professor with that bait. Foreman?
Yes, madam?
Bring that Larrabee woman back here for a moment. And when I light a fresh cigarette, let go your hold on her, carelessly, as if your attention was attracted by something else. Get a hold of her again when I tell you.
Very well, madam.
Ah! My dear Mrs. Larrabee, I took the liberty of having you brought in here for a moment in order to convey to you a few fitting words, and my sincerest sympathy to your rather unpleasant predicament.
There's nothing they can hold me for, nothing!
Doctor, would you kindly pull the blind down once more? I don't care to be shot from the street.
Ah, it's too late.
Too late, eh?
The signal is given. You will hear from him soon.
Wouldn't surprise me at all.
He's just come, ma'am.
From where?
The house across the street. He was in there watching these windows. He must have seen something, for he's just come out. There was a cab waiting in the street for the doctor, and he's changed places with the driver. They're laying in there to get you in that cab when you come out, ma'am. But don't you do it, ma'am.
On the contrary, sir. I'll have that new driver in here, sir. Get out again quick, Billy, and keep your eyes on him.
Yes, ma'am.
Watson, can you let me have a heavy piece of luggage for a few moments?
Yes, Parsons, my large Gladstone. Bring it here.
Yes, sir.
I'm afraid it's a bit shabby looking, but I think...
Let me go!
Oh, many thanks, Mrs. Larrabee, but your first signal is all that we require. By it, you informed your friend Moriarty that I was here in the house. You are now aware of the fact that he is impersonating a driver and that it is my intention to have him in here. You wish to signal that there is danger. There is danger, Miss Larrabee, but we don't care to have you let him know about it. Take her out, Foreman, and make her comfortable and happy.
Come along now.
Fine, woman. Oh, put it down there. Thank you so much, Parsons. You ordered a cab for the doctor a short time ago. It has been waiting, I believe.
Yes, madam, I think it has.
Be so good as to tell the driver, the one you'll now find there, to come in here and get a valise. See that he comes in himself, and when he comes, tell him that's the one.
But surely he won't come in.
Surely he will. It's his one chance to get me into that cab. He'll take almost any risk for that.
There it is. Right this way.
Well, goodbye, Watson, old fellow. I'll write to you from Paris, and I hope you'll keep me fully informed of the progress of events. As for those papers, I'll attend to them personally. Here, my man, just help me tighten up these straps in a bit. There are a few things in this bag that I wouldn't want to lose, and it's just as well, Oh, who's that at the window? Foreman?
The inspector came in herself, madam.
Ah, the inspector herself. We shall read graphic accounts in tomorrow's papers of a very difficult arrest she succeeded in making at Dr. Watson's house in Kensington. Take him out, Foreman, and introduce him to the inspector. They'll be pleased to meet.
You imagine, Sherlock Holmes, that this is the end?
I venture to dream it might be.
Are you quite sure the police can hold me?
I am quite sure of nothing.
I have heard you are making plans to take a little trip. You and your friend here. A little trip on the continent.
That's all, Foreman.
I shall meet you there. I shall meet you there. You will change your course. You will try to elude me, but whichever way you turn, there will be eyes that see and wires that tell. I shall meet you there, and you know it. You know it. You know it.
Did you hear that, Watson? Never fancy he spoke the truth. Well, it's too bad. Oh. Now that all this is over, I suppose you imagine that your room will no longer be required. Let me assure you that the worst is yet to come.
Oh, why heavens, Holmes, we barely have 5 minutes. Your appointment with Dame Edward and the Count. They were to receive that packet of letters from you.
Oh, they're coming here. That is, if you will be so good as to permit it. The police wouldn't allow us inside the ropes.
Why, you don't mean that...
Quite so. The devils have burned me out.
Good heavens! They've burned you. What did you lose?
Everything. Everything! And I'm so glad of it. I've had enough. This one thing that I shall do here in a few moments is the finish.
You mean Miss Faulkner?
Watson, she trusted me. She clung to me. There were 4 to 1 against me, and they said, "Come here," and I said, "Stay close to me," and she did. She clung to me. I could feel her heart beating against mine, and it will be the same tonight. She'll be there, and I'll be here, and she'll listen, and she'll believe, and she'll trust me, and I've had enough. It's my last case. Oh well. What does it matter? Life is a small affair at most. A little while. A few sunrises and sunsets. The warm breath of a few summers. The cold chill of a few winters. And then...
And then?
And then...
My dear Holmes, I'm afraid that the plan of gaining her confidence and regard went a little further than you've intended. For her. Or for you.
For her. And for me.
Well, if you both love each other.
No, don't say it. You mustn't tempt me with such a thought. That girl, young, exquisite, just beginning her sweet life, and I, seared, drugged, poisoned, almost at an end. No, I must cure her. I must stop it. Now, while there's still time. She's coming here. And when she comes, let her wait in that room and keep that door from closing. She is to overhear.
Yes, I see.
Dame Edward and the Count are very likely to become excited. I shall endeavour to make them so. You must not be alarmed, old fellow. She may be here now. I'll go to your dressing room if you'll allow me and brush away some of this dust.
Yes, by all means, yes.
A lady, sir, wants to know if she can speak with you.
Show her in, and Parsons. 2 aristocrats, Count von Stahlberg and Dame Edward Layton, will call. Bring them to this room here at once, and then tell Madame Holmes. You'll find her in my dressing room.
Yes, sir.
Is this Dr. Watson's room?
Well, yes, and I'm Dr. Watson.
Would you mind telling me if Holmes, Madam, Sherlock Holmes is here?
She will be before long. Miss,
My name is Alice Faulkner.
Well, the fact is, Miss Faulkner, she has an appointment with 2 important personages here, and I was to let her know as soon as they arrived.
Do you suppose I could wait, without troubling you too much, and see her afterwards? I don't want her to know that I came.
Well, of course, if you wish, there's no need of my telling her.
It's very important indeed that you don't, Dr. Watson. I can explain it all to you afterwards.
Well, then step this way, please. I think my esteemed guests have arrived.
Thank you.
Count von Stahlberg and Dame Edward Layton.
Count! Dame Edward.
Dr. Watson, good evening. Our appointment with Madame Holmes was changed to your house, I believe.
That's quite right, Dame Edward.
It was quite a surprise to receive her message an hour ago, changing the place of the meeting. We should otherwise have gone to her house on Baker Street.
Well, you would have found it in ashes, Dame Edward.
What? Really?
The house burnt?
Burning now, probably. Madame Holmes shall be down shortly. Indeed, I think that's her I hear on the stairs right now.
Dame Edward, Count von Stahlberg. Our business tonight can be quickly disposed of. I need not tell you, gentles, for I have already told you that the part I play in it is more than painful to me. But business is business, and the sooner it is over, the better. You were notified to come here this evening in order that I might deliver into your hands the packet which you engaged me on behalf of your exalted client to recover. I felt bound to do so, and therefore pursued the matter to the very end. And I now have the honor to deliver it to your hands.
Permit me to congratulate you, Holmes, upon the marvelous skill you have displayed and the promptness with which you have fulfilled your agreement.
Oh, 9. No!
What does this mean? These letters and these other things, where did you get them?
I purchased them last night.
Oh, from whom, if I may ask?
From the parties interested, by the consent of Miss Faulkner.
You have been deceived.
What?
This packet contains nothing, not a single letter of paper we have wanted. All clever imitations. The photographs are of another person. You have been duped. With all your supposed cleverness, they have tricked you.
Most decidedly duped, Fräulein Holmes.
Why, this is terrible.
Surely, madam, you do not mean by that there is a possibility you may not be able to recover them. Is there no hope of it?
No, none whatsoever. It's too late to begin now. I can't begin all over again.
Why, this is scandalous. It is criminal, madam. You had no right to mislead us in this way, and you shall certainly suffer the consequences. I shall see that you are brought into court to answer for it. Madam Holmes, it will be such a blow to your reputation.
I'm ruined!
Ruined! Dame Edward, it is entirely owing to her and what she said to me that I now wish to give you...
One moment, allow me. My lords, I notified you in my letter of this morning that the package would be produced at 9:15. It is now 14 past, and this is it. The one you have there, as you have already discovered, is a counterfeit.
Oh, excellent! Excellent! Holmes! Upon my word!
Take this, Miss Faulkner. Take it away from me, quick. It is yours. Never give it up. Use it only for what you wish.
This is outrageous! Your agreement!
I break it. Do what you please. Warrants, summons, arrests. You will find me here. Watson, get them out. Get them away.
Yes, I'm sure that you will all appreciate the fact...
Wait a moment, Dr. Watson. Here is the package, Dame Edward.
No.
I much prefer that you should have them. Since you last came that night and asked me to give them to you, I have thought of what you said. You were right. It was revenge.
We are greatly indebted to you, Miss Faulkner.
To be sure.
And to you, Madam Holmes, if this was part of the game. It was certainly an extraordinary method of obtaining possession of valuable papers. But we won't quarrel with the method as long as it accomplished the desired result. Eh, Count?
Certainly not, Dame Edward.
You have only to notify me of the charge for your services, Madam Holmes, and you will receive a check. I have the honor to wish you good night. Dr. Watson? This way, Count.
Now that you think it over, Miss Faulkner, you are doubtless beginning to realize the series of tricks by which I sought to deprive you of your property. I couldn't take it out of the house that night like a straightforward thief, because it would have been recovered at law. And for that reason, I resorted to a cruel and cowardly device which would induce you to relinquish it.
But you did not give it to them.
No, I preferred you should do as you did.
What?
You see, Miss Faulkner, it was a trick, a deception to the very end.
And was it a trick last night when they tried to kill you?
I went there to purchase the counterfeit package to use as you have seen.
And did you know I would come?
No. But it fell in with my plans notwithstanding. Now that you see me in my true light, Miss Faulkner, we have nothing left to say but good night and goodbye, which you ought to be very glad to do. Believe me, I meant no harm to you. It was purely business with me. And for that, you see, I would sacrifice anything. Even my supposed friendship for you. 'Twas a pretense, a sham. Everything that you saw was a lie.
I don't believe it.
Why not?
From the way you speak, from the way you look, from all sorts of things. Sherlock, you're not the only one who can tell things from small details.
Your faculty of observation is somewhat remarkable, Miss Faulkner. And your deduction is quite correct. I suppose. Indeed, I know that I love you. I love you. But I know as well what I am and what you are, and I know no such person as I should ever dream of being a part of your sweet life. It would be a crime for me to think such a thing. There is every reason why I should say goodbye and farewell. There is every reason.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Ryan McWayne. I am the director of this crazy cast here, this wonderful show. We're so glad to have you all here tonight. I want to take a moment and let's introduce some folks. So first up, our backup actors and offstage voices, Rose Taylor and Alex Asher. As McTague and Parsons, Pat Purdue. As Leary and Count von Stahlberg, Nancy Homan. As Cragen and Sir Edward Layton, Karlissa Jones. Dame Edward, oh, pardon me, thank you. As Therese and Mrs. Smeedley, Jennifer Moody. As Billy, Kristin Wirtz. As Judson Foreman, Carolyn Poutasse. As Bassick, Brandon Urey.
Ballsack.
As Sid Prince, Ralph Turley. As James Larrabee, Andrew Freborg. As Madge Larrabee, Ellie Smith. As Alice Faulkner, Ariel Hicks. As Professor James Moriarty, Andrew Laniohan. As Dr. John Watson, Jason Caffarella. And as, I'm guessing, your new favorite Sherlock Holmes, Martha Benson. And we had an amazing crew on this. Let's recognize our stage manager, Amanda Vanderhyde. Come on, Amanda, show yourself. As our second stage manager and filling in where she needed, Kira Anderson. Our adaption queen who took this amazing, huge, epic Sherlock Holmes and cut it down to what you saw tonight and made it fabulous, Rachel Kohler. Our amazing marketing. This is probably the most marketed show that I've seen. It was amazing. Samantha Kalita. Helping out our video production tech, Chad Howard. And the king of the majestic, Jimbo Ivy. And of course, you, our theater supporters, thank you all so much for supporting theater throughout all of this craziness we've been going on for the last year. Thank you so much. We love you all. Have an amazing night.
Professor Michael Fisher is reunited with his two sisters to celebrate their father's 75th birthday. As destructive secrets and long-held resentments bubble to the surface, the three negotiate how much of the past they're willing to sacrifice for the chance at a new beginning. Agnes is trying to come to terms with her younger sister Tilly's unexpected death. When she happens upon Tilly's Dungeons & Dragons notebook, she embarks upon the adventure she finds inside with the aid of the friendly neighborhood dungeon master. It's a journey of discovery, understanding, and orc slaying. On March 5th, Friday Night Funny presents Singularity, a robot comedy variety show. Join us for a very special evening of entertainment from robots and some of our favorite nerdy humans from all over the coast. Follow the life of a passionate art historian named Heidi Holland, from an awkward high school dance to the adoption of her child at age 40 as a single mom. She wrestles with what it means to be a well-educated woman in a constantly evolving world where those around her transition from idealism to militant feminism back to an unsettling materialism. She discovers what it means to get what you want, what you need, or simply what's realistic. For more information on these and other great shows, be sure to check out majestic.org.